SDK, you want to communicate with our endpoint, that's not a problem. We'll happily provide that for you. You want to communicate with your own endpoint, we'll give you the code to do that. So ultimately, these are two core building blocks that we're going to do. So to bring this to life, this being all about developers and the platform, it wouldn't be anything if we didn't actually have code on stage. So I'd like to invite Purdy up.
Hi, Ethan.
Hi, Doug.
How are you? You're doing great. Isn't Ethan doing phenomenal? For those of you that don't know me, I talk, but I like to write code. I'm just not very good at it. So typically they have me up here pretending like I know how to write code. So what I'm actually going to do is, could we switch to the other input? Is I'm going to show you a bit of a demo that is going to take advantage of a lot of the technologies that you just saw Ethan talk about. And I'm going to do that in a way that I hope can bring us all together in a real interesting way. Hang on. See, this is, Ethan and I didn't actually practice this ahead of time, so you're getting to see how we do this live. So what this actually is right here is, this is a application that is called Zendo. And so this is a Apple Watch app that runs, you can download it right now if you want to. You can get it on the Apple Watch, you can get it on iOS. And what it actually does is it monitors your internal state, the internal state of your heart, which for me right now is pounding as I profusely try to get this demo to actually work. And what it actually does is as I'm listening to myself, as I'm doing a meditation, Zendo is actually tracking me as well. And what it's doing is it's enabling me to get a good understanding of my internal state. And this is coming live right now from my heart. This is the internal state of my heart, projected visually for you to see right now. That's how much I love all of you. So we built this app to basically demonstrate a number of different technologies, but the most important one was that you can quantify the experience that you have when you meditate. And this was so important to us that we actually built this visualizer that allowed 10, 20 people to sit together and meditate. And it was a really awesome experience. It was almost like a meditation concert of sorts. And what we decided to do with this was, what if you could then take that sort of understanding, that sort of experience, and then bind that to a cause? What if you could make a world where when people meditated, they would meditate, but then they could also donate? And so that's what we've done. We basically have built a variant of this application that, as it's monitoring my heartbeat, as a group of people are meditating together, it will actually determine whether or not they're meditating in a state that is sufficient to provide a donation to some worthy cause that they're thinking about. And it's a really amazing sort of experience when you sit down and you try to develop a wonderful, peaceful experience, but then you also know that what you are endeavoring to do in that moment is also adding value in a real, tangible way to people that need it most. So, how did we do that? So if we could just turn down the volume a bit, I'm going to show some code if I could. What we actually did is we have built this application. A lot of this is based on the typical technology you would expect for an iOS app, you would expect for an Apple Watch app. And then we took advantage of this new SDK that our great friends here at xPring, which I'm part of that same family, have built out for us. And what we did was basically build this application in such a way that we could test when we would use an old chunk of code, we would use this new chunk of code, and we would compare those things and get a real good understanding on, are we actually adding value to a developer's life? Because at the end of the day, those of you that are in the audience that actually write code, or you support people that actually write code, this is all about how quickly, how efficiently can you get done with whatever the task at hand is, and then move forward on to the next thing you need to work on. And so time is critical. In fact, I tell most of the team, the most and best code ever written is 0. If you can get away without writing code, please, dear God, don't impress me with how much code you wrote. Impress me with how much code you didn't write. And so we took this sort of kernel of an idea, and we ended up building three different variations of this app that would be able to send these donations utilizing the XRP ledger. And how we actually did that was, in the first case, we actually utilized Ripple Ledger. So in this case, you can see that it's about 100 lines of code. And that's a good chunk of code. You have to understand sort of the state machine, etc. And that's not too bad. We got the donations to work fairly well. But then because the team had actually spent a bunch of time trying to really simplify that, how can you go and actually take those 100 lines of code that you're seeing here to track the transaction, I have to sign the transaction myself, I have to do the submission, and then I, of course, have to check the transaction. And that's actually the hard part, which we've spent an enormous amount of time trying to make simple, as many of you know. Like, if you know how these sorts of systems work, the hardest parts about them is like, did it fail or did it succeed? So, in fact, you can see in this code that I have here, I have to comment it out and actually says, I don't even know if this thing works. Literally. And many people who we talk to, they say the same thing. They're like, man, we tried this, we tried that, and we finally were just like, well, we did the best we could. So how is it that then we could take this chunk of code and make it even easier? So what we did was we built this much simpler API. It's also in Node, but it also exposes the API to all languages, but over HTTP. And then we wanted to make that even simpler, and it had to go down by about half. So we took this Spring SDK idea, and we said, what if we could just make the simplest thing simple and make very hard things possible? Not mine, but Einstein's. And in the end, where we ended up getting down to was these very simple lines of code in order to create a new wallet, in order to make this request over gRPC, which Ethan was talking about, and then reliably submit that into transaction, and then get a status update in a predictable and deterministic way. And so this was really the biggest chunk of work that we really did with partners in trying to understand how many lines of code do you have, what are the failure states, and how can we make that easier for you? Because what our goal is with Spring is to make every single application a wallet. We believe that in the end, people transmit value, they transmit experiences, and we want to give them tools, we want to give developers tools and people tools in order to be able to do that inside of all of their experiences. And so we managed, the team that had built the Zendo application, to add this amazing feature where we could make meditations turn into donations, frankly, in 5 to 10 lines of code, and do it in such a way that it was very, very simple for me not even to think about it again. In fact, I wrote almost all of this code back in October under the presumption that the API would sort of work this way, etc. And then the team last night said, we think we're done. I'm like, all right, let's go take a look. And the engineer, Kiefer, who's around here someplace, thank you, Kiefer, wherever you are. Hi, Kiefer. He said, let's see. And within 10 minutes, all the code that I had written in October for Zendo still kept working. And so for me, that's actually the core thing that you're looking for out of a platform is predictability. Not only did it make it easy for me, but once I built the thing, I forgot about it. How many of us have written lines of code and like 18 months later, it's like, what? Who's gonna look at this thing? I'm not. Find somebody else to go look at it. And so what we're trying to do is basically, can you get some level of predictability inside of what we're building? It's sort of the core atomic level, and all the best practices are encoded and placed in there by default for you. And so what we basically have done with the Spring SDK is make it simple for the people that write code every single day to do the right things by default. Now, one of the other things that we had spent a bunch of time working on was how can we make it easy for people to actually become developers on top of our platform. And so what we actually did was we spent a bunch of time trying to make it easy for you as a developer to provision all of the various pieces that you actually need in order to get going with your app. And we've launched that on Spring.io. And what that functionality actually allows you to do is it's a graphical way of interacting with the ledger and interacting with the Spring systems and protocols in a way that if you wanted to write code, you could do that against the SDK. And if you want to do that utilizing a web interface, this would be the way that you would do that. And so what I'm going to do really quickly is I'll show you how simple and straightforward this is. I am not going to open up a new incognito window because it will have new cookies. So this is our brand new site. Will Lou, are you in the building? Are you here someplace? Oh, there you are. Hey, Will, is this live right now? People can sign up for this. Great. Yes, so you can right now. So with this, we basically are making manifest this idea where if the SDK represents how you get access to these services via an API or via a programming model sort of binding. This is the way that you interact with our tool chain via a web interface. And we're also working on additional ways for you to interact with this piece. And the way that we thought about addressing this is every developer in the world, we want them to become Spring developers. Roughly there are 5,000 to 10,000 sort of blockchain developers that are out there, but when you look at the total number of professional developers, it's roughly 23 million people make their living operating Turing machines. And how can you make it possible for all of those people to build their applications utilizing Spring? And so in order to do that, we basically wanted to build the simplest thing possible, and we decided to use GitHub as the identity system for Spring. We're in the process of looking at other sorts of things that developers use, like Bitbucket, et cetera. But for right now, we think almost every developer I know certainly has a GitHub address, and we've decided to make that the core of the identity service here. And the way we've actually built this is a Spring identity service that is a mechanism by which not only ourselves, but also you as developers will be able to do some pretty interesting things, we think, around identity. And we've got some news on that soon, but that'll probably end up being next year. And what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to sign into GitHub. And as you can see here, it asks whether or not I'd like to give my GitHub account permission for that. And then we just say, yes, we'd like to authorize Spring. And this doesn't do anything other than basically utilize the OAuth system, where we utilize the credentialing system of GitHub. They give us back a signed token, and then we utilize that effectively as the primary key of your identity in the Spring identity system. And what we've done here is once we actually provision that for you, and this is utilizing the Spring SDK under the cover. So one of the core things we try to do is eat our own code. So if you aren't writing code every day, and you're not writing apps and systems on top of the things that you are telling other people to do, well, you're just lying to yourself, and frankly, more importantly, you're lying to everybody else. So one of the things that we really wanted to do was make certain that all of the things that we built here are utilizing the core sets of technologies that the platform team is building out that you would be using as well. And so what we've done is actually utilizing the SDK, we actually provision the test network, and we will give you an XRP address, and we will also give you something that we're calling a Spring address. And this Spring address is something that every Spring developer will get. If you have a GitHub address, we'll just grab your GitHub alias and we'll put it into our namespace. And that Spring address is going to be an important thing because human readability is not something that has actually come to crypto from an addressing perspective or from an identity perspective. And so one of the core things that we're interested in is how is it possible for us to make your phone number, your SMS address, and even something as simple as a payment pointer or payment address up here, this human-friendly, human-readable, in an interoperable way, allow people to move money and move value between each other. And in fact, one of the core things here is how do we go about, as technologists, making money a core part of the internet to where URLs make sense for money, where MIME types make sense for money, where all the core technologies that we're just used to manifesting around data are simple and available for money. And so this, for us, is one of the core things we want to get focused on, and we really encourage you to work with us. We've been spending a lot of time on ILP, a lot of time on XRP, trying to get these primitives right in an interoperable way where developers can really think about this namespace and identity space as something that's simple and very, very user-friendly, and most importantly, interoperable. Now from this, I can actually take this alias, and inside of the tool itself, I can send some money. So I'm actually going to send some money to myself. I'm going to send 21 XRP to myself. I'm meta Doug D. Purdy on the side. And over here, let's see if this works. It's going to work. It's going to work. Reliable transaction submission, that's what you're seeing right there. Right, Will? Here we go, I'm going to the other side. Scroll down. Nope, I'm going to the browser now. You know what? It doesn't work. You know it's not real unless it doesn't work. Then you know it's real. All right, let me go to GitHub one more time. I'm going to unlock. I'm not going to do that. I know what happened. The database was changed underneath me. That's okay. We're gonna go back to this browser, and everybody's gonna get excited because this is gonna work. Here we go. Do it. Do it. No. All right, there it is. Yeah. It actually worked. It did twice this reliable transaction submission. This is the cheapest card. This is the XRP. You may see a future product look like this. I'm probably not supposed to say that. Anyway, so what you actually saw there was a wallet that we were providing with developers that utilizes your GitHub identity, makes it very, very simple for you to get on board the XRP and the ILP network, frankly, and then we'll give you access to that via a programmatic interface with the SDK, as well as a set of tools like what you see here that will continue to expand out. Because we really, really want to make this the simplest way for you to put money at the core of your app. And those primitives should just be simple, they should be transparent, and they should be just as ubiquitous as the things we are used to with HTTP and all the underlying technologies that fuel much of the growth that's responsible for us being in this room today. And so as an engineer that just wants to write code and frankly isn't very good at it, the fact that Spring and Ripple is investing in this kind of developer platform really excites me. And it has really enabled me, at least as a developer of this phenomenal app that gives me a great experience, bring this to a new level and do it in such a way that frankly I could have never even thought about doing 12 months ago. And so with that, I think we're going to turn it back over to Ethan, and Joe is going to close us out with this portion. So thank you very much, folks.
Thank you, Doug. I love Doug. He's a hard person to follow on stage. So, in summary, or kind of, I think generally I would say, for us, this is just the beginning. The SDK, the wallet, the developer website is kind of table stakes for launching a platform. So we're excited that we have got table stakes out there. But we think these are really two core foundations for what we're going to build moving forward. And so, in many ways, as I said, the SDK and the website are really representative of the tools and the services that we'll put together that interact and work with each other to make technologies like XRP and ILP easier to use. And when we think broadly about what the future looks like, we've talked about a wallet. There's obviously a lot that we can hang off the side of the wallet. The testnet is really just the beginning. Areas around payout are super important, especially when it touches fiat. Everybody works with fiat, so figuring out how the bridges work is super important. Doug talked a lot about identity. It's something we're spending a lot of time thinking about. We do think that everyone should have some sort of payment address, and it should be human readable, not a really long, challenging key or address to read. We're spending a lot of time digging into centralized finance, understanding what sort of products can we build there. And then obviously analytics are a critical part of any platform. When you're using a platform and using a technology, you want to be able to understand how your application is working, what's going on to make it good. And so we will continue to invest and expect to see a variety of different things coming from us there. And ultimately, this is all about the community. This is all about the people in this room, the people that are sharing the vision of the Internet of Value. And so we've been working with a ton of different partners. As I said, we've been spending a lot of time working on hackathons and out in the community talking with them. But we want to continue to engage. These are some of our partners that we've been spending time with in the past couple of months. But if you want to build with us, please come talk to us. There's a ton of people here from Spring. You can come to spring.io. You can sign up, become a developer. You can access support. You will most likely get in touch with one of our engineers today, which we will ultimately solve. But we want to hear. Like, we're here to build with you. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Danny Aranda, who is actually going to be hosting a panel with some people who are actually building in the space, building on these technologies. And then from there, we'll follow it up with some drinks. But it's great to have you all here, and thank you so much.